Uh, Thanks, Aisambai, for organizing the session and other organizers as well. I'm Mohammad Asif Waquar. I'm a Microsoft MVP on Azure platform, currently working in Singapore. I have done many certification on Azure blockchain, and I have quite good experience in blockchain. And this is uh, part two of the series of blockchain series. In part one, we have discussed about the basics of blockchain and app development. And in this part, I'm going to discuss about smart contracts, which is means if you want to write some business logic on the blockchain network, so you have to write the smart contracts, and I'll discuss some security concepts and whatever the app will develop today. So this session is going to be, if you haven't attended the first session, I will just do some recap of the part one, and then we'll go for part two. And this session is going to be completely on end-to-end how we'll develop a blockchain application and we'll deploy on different blockchain network, maybe on your local or Azure or AWS, wherever you want to do that. So in today's session, you will get the whole idea how we start if you are completely new to the blockchain. So you will get the idea how we can, what are the tools we need to use, and what are the things we need to install, and how we need to write the smart contract logic, and what are the tools available for writing the smart contracts, and what are the security standards and things we need to consider in terms of while we are writing a smart contract or any blockchain application. So in today's agenda, we'll discuss about the smart contracts, type of smart contracts, ERC tokens, which is Ethereum standard tokens, means why we need to write ERC tokens, and then we'll go for the demo. In part one, we in in part one, we have discussed why we need a blockchain and how it solves the real problem. We have seen the use case of buying a property. While buying a property, there are many different parties, and what are the problems we faced, and then how the blockchain solves the problem in terms of real-time review, proof of ownership. You know that who from where exactly it started, and this automated settlement using the smart contract and decentralized execution. So these all things we discuss in part one, and then we discussed the type of blockchain we can use, means like there are public blockchain like Ethereum and Bitcoin. These are the public blockchains, so anyone can take participate in that. And there are private blockchains, so only certain organizations, they perform some kind of business only in the organization. So those are the private blockchain, and consortiums are like there are different groups and they want to join a network. They want to do some kind of transaction like supply chain, licensing, tourism, hotel. So in that type of network is known as a consortium network. And when we talk about the private, so suppose if you want to do some kind of document management or asset management or governance subsidiary, so those type of organizations create the private blockchain network. And public blockchain, basically, like in Singapore, Singapore have government done for giving the Singapore Airlines points. They have made one application, and there are health records for maintaining the health records. So those kind of application can be built on public blockchain network. So I will be discussing bit both of them, means like how you can do that. And after that, we discuss about the Ethereum architecture. So while if you want to do a blockchain development, so what are the things you need to consider in terms of architecture point of view? So we discussed that first of all we need to have a Ethereum network, so which you can create locally. Also, there are some predefined already available services like Infura and Ropsten network or other networks. So they provide test networks also. You can also create your own network in locally. That's a tool called Ganache we use for creating a local network. And Azure and AWS also provide the services for creating the Ethereum network. And to communicate that network, we need some kind of Ethereum client. So Ethereum client in today's demo, I will show that how we'll connect with the Ethereum client with the help of Web3.js. So Web3 is a kind of client which helps to connect to Ethereum network, and we will use for local development. We have a plugin called MetaMask, which basically acts as a mediator to connect to the blockchain network. Either it's a local or maybe a cloud network or anywhere. And then we have seen what are the tools we need for the blockchain development. For suppose if you are going for the local development, so you need Ganache. And if you want to deploy on Azure blockchain, you can deploy that. So that's a cloud network. So in place of that Azure blockchain, there can be AWS as well, both having a blockchain as a service. Azure is going to discontinue the blockchain as a service, but they have provided an option for creating a network by using template. I will show going forward. And for doing the development, we need two basically the main tools. One is the Truffle. Truffle is basically for your management of your project. So in the previous part one demo, I have showed how with the help of Truffle, how we can create the project. And we need a Ganache for local development. And if you don't want to do smart contract development in locally, so there is already a predefined tool available which is called Remix IDE. I will show how we'll develop how we'll write the contract logic with the help of Remix. Because sometimes suppose if you don't have any local network or maybe the cloud network, but you want to write and test the logic with the help of a smart contract. So the IDE is very helpful in that type of scenario. So in today's session, we will discuss on smart contract functioning. So let's talk about, so let's take a same use case which we have discussed earlier in part one about means like for buying the property. So suppose if you want to that you are a buyer or seller and you want to buy the property, and we saw that there is a problem like suppose if you want to buy a property, so you know that this property is legitimate or not, or to avoid that kind of scenario, what we discussed previously is with the help of blockchain, all the parties will come on the same platform and they can perform the transaction, and the terms and conditions between those parties will be written in terms of smart contracts like on the blockchain network. So we will write the logic, whatever the terms and conditions, if you are writing for any application, that will be in terms of smart contracts and which will be deployed on the blockchain nodes. And these smart contracts will be triggered with the help of events or maybe self execution. So that's how you can you can set up accordingly based on your need. So in this, basically, it'll be more on so the deals between the parties. If you mean like when we are discussing about the blockchain network, so deals between the parties will be in terms of terms and conditions. These terms and condition will be with the help of a smart contracts. In current scenario, there are four types of smart contracts. Basically, in smart contract with the legal contracts, suppose if you want to have some kind of legal terms and conditions, suppose means like I'm doing some kind of project, and if the project is completed up to certain stage, so we need to get the money, and those process you want to automate with the help of smart contracts, and because you don't trust the parties, you means like so it might be the scenario that there are third parties involved, and those third parties, what they will do, they will block the money for some period of time, and once the project is completed, so they will release the money. So that kind of conditions can be in terms of legal contracts. So they will make the legal smart contracts, and those smart contracts will be executed once the payment or approval is done, or yeah, that's kind of scenario. And second will be a decentralized autonomous means like there will be multiple smart contracts combined with a government mechanism, like it will be same part of kind of legal contract, but it will be with the different parties, and there might be multiple smart contracts on top of it, and there will be hierarchy of the smart contracts. And the third is distribution apps. So that's called D apps. So combine of smart contracts and codes. And in today's demo, like we have smart contracts for the to-do list, or we have a smart contract for the smart means like asset transfer. So asset transfer, it might be like for buying the smart contract, there are certain different terms and conditions. For selling the some goods, there are certain different terms and conditions. So all those smart contract logic, if we combine in a one or maybe, So that can be a DApps that will deploy on the blockchain network. And third will be like smart contract with the help of devices. So if you want to perform some means like operations with the help of IoT, and means like the data is coming from different multiple IoT sources, and it's being processed with the help of blockchain. So you know that which, and you are filtering the data means different sources, and then you are processing the actual information on the blockchain, which is important one. So that kind of smart contracts. Uh, So all these actually transactions are done on Ethereum network. So to perform these transactions, we need to pay, means like whenever we are doing some kind of transaction on the blockchain network, I told earlier in a public blockchain network. So because no one maintains the network, so how it runs basically. So what we do is whenever all these transactions are being performed on the network, so we need to pay a certain amount of fee on the blockchain network, which is called gas fees. And those gas fees are charged in terms of tokens. So that's why when you think when you people say about the blockchain, so the token concept comes. So token is nothing but is like a digital currency, and to maintain the fee on the network or to perform some kind of transactions, you are paying the fee with the help of token. So in public blockchain network, Ethereum is one of the second largest blockchain network. And when we are writing the smart contracts execution logic for that, so we need to pay a fee for running the contract or for executing the contract. And there are certain standards for executing those contracts, like that's called ERC standards of smart contracts, which is maintained by Ethereum network. So these ERC applications basically are levels of means like they are that can be like include a token standards, name registry, or library package. So in these they apply for all these. So in this, these ARC tokens can be created by anyone actually, but author should take the responsibility to clearly know that this is standard, means like he is following the standard in correct scenario. So to means like audit this kind of standards, we have a certain libraries that's called open sapling. So that is the organization which ensures the security of the smart contracts. There are certain types of ERC smart contracts are there. ERC20, which is a very common standard of writing the smart contracts. In this smart contract, the standard API using for fungible tokens and including the transfer balance and functionality. What is a fungible and non-fungible token? Fungible is something like which you can evaluate the value, like in terms of money. Non-fungible tokens are like assets. So if you are buying the assets, and maybe you have heard recently Twitter CEO means like to be first tweet was sell as a NFT. So that NFT, because that don't have any monetary value, so that's why it was created as an NFT token, because it was the first tweet and it was quite unique, and they have sold as an NFT. So they have created as a non-fungible token. So which value you cannot calculate, that will be called as a non-fungible token, and which value you can calculate and you can get the money. So that's a fungible token basically in general terms. So ERC20 contracts, standard contracts are written for fungible tokens, and they are transferable because money you can transfer from one person to another person. And same as this ERC223 is basically for protects the user for accidental contract transfer. Suppose you have certain terms and condition and you want to apply those terms and conditions, like you having bank account, but you don't want accidental transfer. Suppose if there is accidental transfer happens between the two parties, so how you can revoke those kind of transfer. So that kind of terms and conditions is written with the help of ERC 223. And actually these all type of token is means maintained and written with the help of open sapling smart contracts, because open sapling is a library which ensures the security standards as well. And ERC 721 is for the non-fungible tokens. So this can be owned and this can be transferred from one party to another party, and they owns this ownership of that. Suppose later on you want to buy some kind of very unique thing. So that might be available. You can create your own NFT and you can publish on the Ethereum blockchain network. And someone is interested in your unique art or something, so they will buy your token as an NFT. So it's something like you want to buy a painting or you want to buy something which is like Mona Lisa painting you want to buy. So Mona Lisa painting is also available as an NFT, and you can go and bid for that, and you can buy it. So that kind of token will be created with the help of ERC 721. Same for ERC 809, which is for I mean, like opposite to non-fungible token, but it is in that honors basically allowed to rent. Suppose you want to rent you have to buy the like painting, but you want to give someone to for rent for some days, or maybe some unique thing is there you want to give for someone for some days, and that is also possible with the help of ERC 809. And so similarly, this kind of standards tokens there are different types of standard tokens which can be very helpful. So basically, common ERC standards defines set of token type, allowing application smart contracts to interact with the predictable world. There are several advantage because these are the standards, and means like developer have to follow. So it will be like standard for all the people. They will have because a few years back there was a DAO attack and there was some code. Issue in the Ethereum smart contract logic, and because of that, millions of dollars, got a issue. So that kind of thing can be avoided if you are writing some standard, smart contract. And there are different types of means like contracts also. Like one is escrow contract known as some examples of these tokens are like you can say crowd sales means like suppose there is a ICO boom. So in that kind of means scenario means like we can release a ERC token, or maybe the escrow contracts. Escrow contracts are something like between the two parties, third parties holds the assets, and then means like transaction is performed. So something like project is done on certain stages. So there will be like suppose in your company some migration work, cloud migration is going on. Okay. So some third party company is coming and he is doing the whole process, or maybe means like some organization is being sold to some other organization. So there are third parties who do such kind of jobs. So all three parties are unknown parties. So in that kind of scenario, I mean, like they don't trust each other. So in that kind of scenario, escrow contracts will be written. So they will be helpful for means like writing the means third party will hold their money, and then based on the project stages, it will be released for that. So in today's demo, in today's demo, what I will do is I will create a smart contract. I will show what are the things you need to know about this writing the smart contracts, and we will see the basic structure, how exactly it happens. So in today's there is a to-do list. Let me show you how it will look like. So this is the to-do list application which I have created, and in that what I'm doing is suppose I'm adding. So this is the basic functionality which I have done on the blockchain network. So once I'm creating some kind of record, it will this is the MetaMask plugin which I in part one we discussed. This MetaMask plugin helps to connect with the local blockchain network. So local blockchain network, I have a Ganache running. So Ganache is my local blockchain network. So to set up the blockchain network locally, you just need to download the Ganache, and you need to install the MetaMask plugin, and your local blockchain network will be available for it. To communicate with this blockchain network, we need currently I have no transactions. So to communicate with this blockchain network, we need to write the smart contracts. So I have performed this transaction and I am going to pay the fee in terms of gas for performing this transaction. So once I confirm it, so my transaction is confirmed, and let's see. my yeah, test 5 is added here. So let's see. I think the transaction will also be appear. It takes some time. Yeah, this is the transaction which is the block 0 because this is the first transaction which is added here. And you can see the test 5 same as it is. This is my local network. What we can do, we can also create a blockchain network on the Azure blockchain platform. So that will be my second demo, which I will show that how we can create a blockchain application to do the prototyping of the blockchain network with the help of Azure blockchain. So this is my asset transfer application, which is for same buying or selling the property. We want to create a smart contract, means like between different parties. In this, you can see we have 5 members, which are buyer, owner, seller. So they will sell the properties or anything between the parties. Okay, so this is a private blockchain network. But what I have done is here, I have created a React application, which is my front end application, and smart contract logic I have written in the Solidity programming language. And I am consuming those smart contracts in React application, and then I'm performing the blockchain. I'm performing the create operation or complete operation with the help of blockchain network. So this is my complete operation. Let's see if it is my task is created or completed. So this is completed. Okay. So let's see how it can be done. But before that, let me go and quickly create a. Okay. Let me go and quickly create for the React application. So that I will do with PX. So first I'm going to create a simple React application, which will means in that we will create the logic for creating the task and completing the task. These are the two things which we need to write for the, because here I am doing two things. One is I am creating the task and then I'm completing the task. Yeah, I think it's being created yet. So if, and second thing, what we'll do is, because with the React applications, I need to connect to my local blockchain network. For that, what we need is we need Web3 JS, which is local Web3 JS helps you to connect with the blockchain network, either locally or maybe in cloud network. So until then, we will see that this is the remix ID. But first of all, we need to write a smart contracts also. Means this is the React application which we are creating, and to consume this means for the logical part, we need to create the smart contracts. And as I earlier mentioned, there are two means like different types of smart contracts. With the help of ERC token, you can write. This is a escrow contract. In escrow contract, you can see here what we have done is we have written for means like property buying and selling. So in this, first of all, we have declare our variables, and this mapping is done basically. Mapping is a variable for map our variables from like what we want to do for address to total amount. Okay, and then we have to define the state. State is a kind of logical structure for in terms of smart contracts. So let me show you. I think I have a. So if you see here, this is the first in the smart contract logic. First we'll do is we'll define the version, means like that can be defined in terms of range, because in Solidity what will happen is first of all, if you are writing some like currently it's a 0.5.2 or 0.5.1 version is going on, but it might be that some of the features are supported the older version. So what you can do is you can write in terms of range, like we can write 0.5.2 dash 0.4 point something. So it will support the version of the previous version as well. Then we have to declare the smart contracts as a class. Here I'm going to, because I'm going to do two operations. One is task create and task complete. So before that, I need to initialize the variable with the 0 task variable. So I have declared the variable in my to-do list smart contracts task count is equal to 0. And then I have this declared the smart contract structure. So what I need is I need an integer ID for each task. I need ID because once I will do my second operation for completing the task, so I need ID for that. And then we have a text box which is a content, and then we will have a status to complete, either it's true or false, so that's why I have taken as bool. And then we have done for the mapping of the task and declared the list of a task. We have two events. One is for creation and one is for completion. Suppose if you are writing for editing and deleting, so you can write the four events. It's based on your need. And then we have to write the constructor to initialize the list. So means while load the application, I want to initialize the create task. So that's why I have called the function called create task. And then we have a create task function, which is we are doing the task count means increasing, and then we are updating the task count, content, and the status. And after that, once task is created, I am just initializing the another event. So this is the very basic structure of the smart contracts. It will follow in all types of smart contracts. So first of all, you need to declare the variables. Second, you need to declare the structure of the smart contracts. Then you have to write the event, whatever you are going to do, and then you have to write the constructor and functions on top of it. So I think my React application is created. So let's go and see the React. Yeah, it's ready. So basically, if you are new to React, you don't need to worry, because we will just I will explain how I'm going to write the logic, and we will work on the two files basically. One is app.js, and then I will create a to-do list for writing my form. So in currently, if you see, we don't, because this is a simple React applications, but I need a Web3 plugin also. So for interacting with the blockchain network. So what I will do, I will install the Web3 plugin. If anyone have any questions or like any issues, please let me know, because I'm not able to see the chat or window. Yeah. So for because this is the React applications, and there is a smart contract I will write in Solidity, which I will after completing this, I will show how I will write the smart contracts in Remix or VS Code, both I will show. Because in previous part one, we have already created this smart contracts, I think, to-do list smart contracts. Also, yeah. So what I will do is I'll create one config file, config.js. In this, I will declare two variables. One is for means like my contract address, because when I will deploy my smart contracts, whenever you deploy any smart contracts on the blockchain network, you will get a unique address. And same as it is, we need to define one another variable export, like for our ABI. Means whenever you build the smart contracts, so there will be JSON file will be generated like this. Whenever we will build this smart contracts, so there will be one JSON file will be generated, which is called like to-do list.json, and we will copy this ABI file to here. And where exactly we will deploy our list address, we will define in the config.js. And now what we need to do is we need to import our React applications if our Web3 is installed. Yeah, Web3 is also installed, so we will import the Web3. So let's import the Web3. Import Web3 from Web3, and then we will have we need to also import our config.js to-do list and the ABI. So because this contract address or ABI file, the logic we will get from here. Okay, next we have to also get because this application, this app.js will be only for writing our, means like initializing the blockchain logic, and we will write the create task, or but the form logic we will write in some separate file. So what I can do is I will create a to-do list.json file. So smart contract logic I will write here. In this because we are going to write a component, so that's why I am going to import a component here, content here, and using from the React. Let me clear this. So basically what I need to do is I will do only a few operations, like first I will create the class app extends component. Then I will load this component. And then we will have our function for loading the blockchain data. I think and then we will have a constructor here. And after that, we will have two events, which is like we have created earlier, like create task, and then completed task, like Google completed. So this is the basic structure for app.js we will write. Okay, I think I have a script. I will just will write with, because these, then I will explain for quickly. Let me think maybe I have here itself. I'm not. So if you can see here, the thing means like when we are writing the app.js, so we will write for loading the blockchain, then we'll write the constructor, which event we want to initialize, then we will write create task and completed task. So, so if you can see here, we are calling in this component mount the load blockchain. In load blockchain, what we are doing is, with the help of web3.js, web3, we are getting the account first, and then we are setting this account with the property called account, and we are loading the smart contracts which we haven't written yet. I will write in solidity, and we are calling with these smart contracts which I have imported here from the config file, and then we are setting the to-do list. So after setting the to-do list, we are doing all the counts of the task. Means because I have created, I mean, like how many of tasks are there. Suppose I have created already 5 tasks, so the 5 tasks will be displayed there, and then we'll display the list of the task all. In constructor, I am loading create task and the completed task event both. And this is a task created event which is going to be created from the to-do list which I have set up here from the smart contract address. So for create task and completed task is happen here, and this is my form which is rendered, but the whole form will be from to-do list. So that's why if you can see, this is the to-do list class, which is let me make the to-do list class also. So this is a to-do list class. In to-do list, oh sorry, I think I have just given the wrong name. It should be JS. Yeah. So in to-do list, if you can see here, there is a form which is I have created for creating the task, and this is my input value which I am going to enter the value, means like whatever the task I want to add. Then we have a submit event, and this submit event, before that we have a checkbox. This checkbox is linked with the ID. So once task is completed, so we are applying the task completed action. This is exported as a to-do list class, and this to-do list class I have called in app.js. So suppose if you have multiple actions or multiple forms, so this is the part of React. So how you want to call, or if you are doing in the React.js or maybe Angular.js, so this is how you manage your forms. Okay, but the thing is, you need to understand how you will load the blockchain data with the help of Web3, how we'll call the smart contracts from the config, and this is the operations you need to do for otherwise other operations, like how you want to manage yourself, you can do that. Okay, so now let me create the smart contracts now. Okay, and before that, what we need to do is I need to just do a few things. Like in packet.json, I need to install two things. One is web web3 component, Web3 because I have installed the latest version, so it should be 1.5.0. Okay, and next I need to install the Bootstrap also. Sorry. This is a problem of Mac. 1 minute, sorry. Okay, let me npm install Bootstrap. Because this Bootstrap will be required for it's like just doing the CSS and Bootstrap and we have 4 point, okay, 5.0, and this I need to also import in my index.js. Bootstrap test CSS. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to write the smart contracts like suppose. So what you need to do, this is a remix ID, and if you want to write a smart contract, so what you need to do is how is the workplace? So to-do list dot solution. The last section will be to-do list dot solution. Okay. And what you need to do is you need to there's for understanding the it's like blockchain solidity language. So we need, as I earlier mentioned, we need Pragma. Pragma is a tool for compiling this smart contracts, and written is currently I have 0.5.2, the latest version. And then we have to create the class. So we need to define the contract, and class will be like a to-do list. And after that, what we need to do is we need to initialize the event. So you init. Okay, then we have to define the structure of the task, like what are the variables we want to use in task variable. So we want first ID, uint ID. So you need to define and declare the variable as a uint ID, and then we have to define a string, means like which we will use for the text box, that is a content. And then we need a third variable, which is a Boolean variable, that is for completed. And this is how then what we need to do. We need to do the mapping of this task. And declare the variable as a public tasks. Then we have to create the event for means like create task and like task created. And in this task created, we will have two things. One is UID, int ID, and string content. And then we have third variable of Boolean variable, bool completed. All will be comma separated. The same for task completed. Just make it completed. And we will have UID and then bool completed. These are the two things. And then we'll write the constructor for so after writing the constructor, we need to actually I have already written these smart contracts. What we'll do is once we write all this logic, so we'll do is we will deploy this smart means like after writing this constructor, then we have to write the functions like task created and task completed. So this is the basic structure for that. So what I will do is I will deploy this smart contracts with in the second tab there is a solidity compiler. So what you need to do is you need to choose the smart contract which means version you want to choose for the compiler and the language, and you want to do auto deploy means like suppose if you're making any kind of changes, so you want to deploy. So if you see here for the to-do list, I have a mapping, then we have a task completed, task created event, then we have a constructor, and we have two functions, task create and task completed. So I can just compile this. Once I will compile this, there will be JSON file will be generated, which is this to-do list.json, and this JSON file we will refer in our to-do list application here, means config.js here. Okay, so I have already deployed to-do list in my local setup. So let me just copy the address and so this is my I have already I will copy this. Okay, and now let me run. This is npm package.json. There is some issue with the package.json. Okay, maybe okay. I'm running in different directory. See blockchain demo. Okay. So this will be basically the application. First of all, you need a Ganache in your local, and then you have to write the smart contract in Solidity. And these smart contracts logic you, so if you can see, I already have okay, I think my task list is not clearly visible. Let me check my app.js. My app.js. I think there is some issue with my detailed list. I think there is some issue with my task list, which is the I should at least it should show this one also, the text box. And I think there is some maybe some missing code I have. Okay, so basically what we'll do is we will it's like once you create any kind of task, so it will be added in the list. So you don't need to means like focus on means like the front end part more. Like you can use the React or Angular, whatever you want. The main thing is how you're writing the smart contracts in Solidity. So once you write these smart contracts, so that will be means you need to understand the structure. Means like you need to declare the variables, you need to write the smart contracts logic, and then you have events. What are the events you want to create, like for create or complete, and then you have to write the functions based on that. Front end, anything you can use, even though you can use the normal app also. uh, yeah. And second is this is the blockchain application which is on Azure. So what you need to do currently, what has happened is Microsoft Azure have discontinued the blockchain as a service, which was used for Azure blockchain service, which is deprecated already. But they have option for Azure blockchain as a workbench. So in case if you are doing the development on if you want to deploy the blockchain application Ethereum network on Azure, so you have two options. One is using by Ethereum proof of authority consortium, which is a template, predefined template available on the blockchain network. So you can create a Ethereum network using Ethereum proof of authority consortium, or either you can go for create the Azure blockchain workbench. If you want to do some kind of testing and prototype, I think Azure blockchain workbench is very helpful. What you need to do is you need to go and choose your subscription and fill your all details and database password or all those things. This will be needed. So you can create the blockchain workbench. I have already created the blockchain workbench. What you need to do is you need to upload the JSON file of your smart contract, which is your ABI file. In Remix, when I build a smart contract, so there was a JSON file generated. So this JSON file and this solution file we need to upload here. So like currently I have already uploaded for Azure blockchain workbench. So I think not this. Okay. So that's why this smart asset transfer application, which is will be, so you just need to upload the two things. One is your JSON file, API file, and then your smart contract solution file. So in this consortium, I have added 5 members, but make sure whatever the members you are going to add based on your smart contract logic, that should be registered with your Active Directory network. So I have already added these all my 5 members in my Active Directory. So you can see here in the user's profile, I have these all registered. You can add as a guest. Suppose if it is some users are outside your network, like suppose someone wants to perform some kind of transaction which is not in your network, so you have to add as a guest user for that. So I want to perform, suppose I want to sell a motorbike. So price will be for suppose $500. So this contract is being created, and now I want to see these details of this contract. So once you create the blockchain network from here as a blockchain, this will be displayed in your resources. So let me go and show you what are the resources will be generated after that. There will be app service, which is my blockchain workbench. There will be a API. Suppose if you want to interact with any other applications, like maybe you have other .NET application or Java application, or SharePoint, Dynamics, whatever. So you can interact with the help of these API. So this is a Swagger API they have given. You can interact with this, and apart from that, there is also Azure Blockchain as a service. There will be a SQL Server database. So let me go and show you how whatever the transactions I am being performed here, I can see this data on the blockchain network. So let me enable the firewall first. So because for why I'm enabling this firewall here, because whatever the transactions I'm performing on the blockchain network, it will be shared only once I enable this. So now what I need to do is I need to go on my SQL Server database. I can query this data. Let me show. So this is my table. So I have all the users, smart contracts. So what are the contracts is written? Let's see. So there are 2 contracts. So you can see here there are 2 contracts which I have created, and I have created as an owner. Now I want to. I have members like demo 1, demo 2. So like suppose demo 1, I want to log in. So what I can do is I can log in as a demo 1. So this is the buyer, and in buyer, what I can do, I can bid for this. So I can take the action and can make offer for buying this, and I will choose the inspector, means like some other party who will verify this transaction, and appraiser, and then I will offer the price like suppose 250, and we will take the actions. So if you can see, these actions are being performed on this blockchain network, and all the transaction will be created as a unique transaction. So that's how you can test your prototype app, and you can see the status is updated here. So it means like then we can log in as a James account, or we can log in as a different accounts, whoever is available here, and perform the transaction. So this is the kind of consortium network, which is like there are different multiple parties, and they are performing their operations in the network. So this blockchain workbench is very helpful in terms of while you are deploying the sorry testing your blockchain prototypes, or maybe for production purpose if you want to build application. And suppose now what I want to do is I want to deploy my to-do list application on this blockchain network. So what I will do is because I have a blockchain network created, which is my Azure blockchain as a service, which is in this network. Okay, let me show you. So this is my API, means blockchain service. So what I will do is in this is my smart contracts I have created in same smart contract which I created in remix ID. I have copied here. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to deploy this on the blockchain network. So let me connect to the network. So I have installed the plugin in VS Code that's called Azure Blockchain. So let me show you. So you can see this is a blockchain development which is by Microsoft Azure blockchain development kit for Ethereum. You need to install for then you will be able to see on your VS Code extension there's a for connecting to the network. So what you need to do is you need to choose this. You need to sign in. I haven't signed in. I am signed in now. So let me. Oh, okay. So it is asking my subscription. So currently I have created in Azure subscription, and this is you can see which is my resources, and I have a demo blockchain. I will be able to see my blockchain. So what I want to do, I want to deploy this on the Azure blockchain network. So what I will do is eh, there are two options. What you can do is either you can use the truffle suite for deploying. Oh, shit. VS Code is some problem. Okay, let me some issue with my VS Code. Hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, now what I will do is there is option on the to-do list smart contract. You can build the smart contracts and can deploy by right click on that. So this is the feature available. So what I need to do, I need to see in this Azure blockchain. So you can see the command is running, it is finished. Now what I want to do is I want to deploy this. So or either you can use so once you click on the deploy, so there are two options. Either I want to deploy on my local blockchain network, the smart contracts, or I want to deploy on Azure blockchain. So I have a second, which is Azure blockchain as service. This is my URL. And once I will create, it will ask me to generate a mnemonic. Mnemonic is used for basically for securing your network. So let me just create mine. Okay, it'll ask you means you want to save this code means to somewhere. Let's just save and title. Okay, and it will start deploying your blockchain on the Azure blockchain network. So suppose in upcoming part 3, what I will do is I will host this React application on Azure blockchain. No, sorry, app as an app service. And because I am going to deploy this blockchain smart contracts on Azure blockchain, I will consume this blockchain, ABI and solution file in my React application, and then it will communicate. So that part, yeah, and we'll see in part 3 that how we are going to when we are hosting the application on app service. So how we are consuming with the help of other cloud providers. Like currently in today's session, we have shown like how we'll create a local blockchain network, how we'll consume write the smart contracts, how we'll consume these smart contracts, and in upcoming session we'll see that while we are deploying the smart contracts on cloud network like Azure, same as this, you can deploy this also on AWS, the smart contracts. Even though there is option for in Remix ID, you can deploy this smart contracts on whatever the network you want. Like currently I have injected web3, so it is my local. So in the web3, what you can do is you can configure your network here in the settings. What you can do is there is an option for network. So you, what you need to do, you need to add your private network. So suppose I have means like Azure network, or maybe AWS network. So what I will do, I will provide my RPC URL. So RPC URL is nothing but when we create any blockchain, means like, so there will be endpoints. So deployment credentials, not this. Actually, because they have discontinued the quorum, so there are a lot of settings change here. Previously they used to show the nodes. I think now they have removed the nodes part. So we will use this FTP settings only, I think. Yeah, so this will be used your FTP, because I haven't tried yet this part, but we can deploy the smart contracts by providing in the, what you need to do is you need to add this in your network. First of all, your RPC endpoint URL. Okay, you need to provide here, and then it is required HTTP prefix. Then you have to provide your chain ID. So chain ID is nothing but for local host, like it's a 1337. There is I will provide the URL. You can find out your chain ID. For maybe for different network, it is different. And once after adding your network, you can either inject with web3, or you can even though provide the web3 providers if you have any, like if you have any domain name, means like you want to host there, so you can provide the endpoints URL directly here, and you can deploy on this blockchain smart contract on that network. This is a publish to IPFS. IPFS is like kind of a blockchain as a service for storing the files, or maybe, so you can deploy the smart contract. Suppose if you want to deploy some kind of file or storage files, so then you can deploy to the publish to IPFS. So I think my smart contract is deployed. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, not this. Yeah, it's still deploying. It takes some time for deploying. So once my smart contract is deployed, uh, I can perform this to-do list operation on the Azure blockchain network. So any questions until here?
Sibai, one question is that
Yeah.
what are the topics we need to study for sync with the sessions? One, someone asked.
Okay. First of all, I think this, I mean, like if you want to study for, it's like if you are a completely new beginner, if you want to do smart contracts, means like blockchain development, you need to do simple two things. Suppose if you don't want to install the applications on your local network or local blockchain, so you need to learn the solidity language. Solidity is for writing the business logic of the smart contract. So this is the language. So you can write this smart contract and test application in the Remix IDE. That is the one thing. You can also do same with the VS Code extension. So what I did is I prefer to go with the VX Code. So what, sorry, we have a VX Code already. So I wrote my smart contracts in VS Code. In previous sessions also I have showed how can you create a simple project of blockchain from the VS Code extension. Let me show you again. So what you can do is that's the one thing. First step is you learn the solidity, understand how we write the smart contracts in blockchain smart contracts. And the second thing is Then there are a couple of tutorials for if you want to go for the advanced level, because this is the first step to if you want to write the blockchain application, and how you want to consume this, that I have showed in today's session. Like you have to deploy the smart contracts, then you need to consume the ABI file or JSON file, and with the help of that logic, you can communicate on the blockchain network. So let me show you how to create the blockchain application. First of all, you need to install the plugin of Azure Blockchain, which I showed before. You need to create a new Solidity project, the basic project, and yeah. So it will create a simple hello world blockchain project for you. The project structure will be created. So if you can see, you have hello blockchain. It means like you have migration. So migration folders denotes you like whenever you are deploying the files. So you have to declare here. So that's how you need to create a. This is the logic part. Like suppose you are writing logic in .NET or Java. So you are writing the APIs in .NET, right? So this is the same thing. This is the .NET for blockchain, you can say. So you have to write the logic in the smart contract authority file, and then you consume wherever you want. Uh, I have given answered your question, or you want to know more on?
Elizabeth, second question was, yeah, is there any study material that they need to follow?
Yeah, I will provide few links. I think from where I have started is there was a tutorial called Blog Geeks. I have actually a few links I will provide in the chat box. Maybe let me show if I can see the chat box. Somewhere I cannot see the chat box actually. Okay. Okay. What you need to do is there's a link called Blog Geeks. Blog Geeks is quite good actually for doing the understanding about the blockchain. And if you want to write, there are few courses they're having learning tracks. Suppose if you want to be a business person, or you want to be uh, developer, wherever you want, so you can start. They're having quite good courses. And even though Microsoft also having some yeah, Microsoft also having some paths, so which you can go and understand about the tokens, because whenever you are writing the smart contract, so you have to follow the ERC standards. And for ERC standard security, you need to know that how you will create the tokens with the help of OpenZappling, because OpenZappling is the library which helps to secure the ERC contracts. So you need to know that, and you need to know that how he will write the smart contracts with the help of Remix, which I showed today. Okay. And this is the, so you need to follow the Solidity documentation, which is quite good actually. So you can you will get the idea how you will write the smart contracts Solidity. Okay. And yeah, I think and there is also on Trufflebox. So there are several open source applications available on the Trufflebox. So suppose if you want to go and try the Trufflebox pre-built application, so what you can do is you can just go in the boxes, and you can see these are the applications which is done by the open source community. You can go and download these applications. You just need to do, what you need to do is you need to type the you need to just run the truffle unbox drizzle or whatever the commands is given on your command prompt, and it will be, or there is another option. And while you create the project in VS Code, it asks you, means like you want to create the basic project or you want to go for the truffle box. So while you choose from truffle box, so it will ask you the path, and what it will show you all the samples which is available on the truffle box website. And you can try the already applications, the structure, project structure, how they have done. You will get the idea, quite good idea actually. By any other question?
Oh, thank you, Asif. Uh, can you please share your those links in the Messenger, Facebook Messenger or LinkedIn
Sure,
Messenger?
sure. I will
Then I
share.
can share with the
Yeah.
participants.
Sure, sure. I'll share. Sure. Thanks, Isan. Thanks everyone for joining the session, and
Thank you,
thank
Asif,
you.
for your nice presentation.
Yeah, actually, it was quite technical. I understand that because if people are not from the background of blockchain or they have no idea, so I think it will be quite difficult. But what I try to do is in both sessions is at least creating the basic project and then to-do list application, because to-do list application is like if you know create, update or delete, I think you can write any application. So that's why it means like while you setting up your local blockchain network, you can write the applications. So hope,
Right.
yeah, I think people have get the idea. If not, I think maybe you can just reach me out if any questions or anything. Yeah,
Thank you very much. If anyone asks me any question, then I will share you.
sure. Thanks, Radhay.
Thanks, Asif bhai, for your effort and nice presentation. Hopefully, this effort will be helpful for the audience and the participants who are attending the session. Thank you very much for attending the session. Hopefully, in next month we will arrange next session.
Yeah,
Currently, we current session is in current session is second session of blockchain and Microsoft Power BI, and third session will be arranged on August. Uh,
yeah. So in part three, basically, whatever the app we have developed today, the to-do list, that app we will deploy on the Azure blockchain. We have already deployed on Azure blockchain, and now we will publish on cloud network with the help of CI/CD that I will show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Asan Bhai, again. Really helpful for your.
Uh, I want to inform you one thing that if uh, anyone one was not present on the earlier session, say first session or is first session, then you will get the session recording on the YouTube, and hopefully, if you are not attending in from the first beginning of the session, then please view the YouTube channel. Then you will get the total session recording. Thank you very much for attending the session. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Sure. Thanks, bhai. Love it.
Allah Hafiz.